In April 1803, Jefferson sent a syllabus to Dr. Benjamin Rush, comparing philosophers to Jesus. And this is what it says. In a comparative view of the ethics of the enlightened nations of antiquity, of the Jews and of Jesus, no notice should be taken of the corruptions of reason among the ancients, to wit, the idolatry and superstition of the vulgar, nor of the corruptions of Christianity by the learned among its professors. Let a just view be taken of the moral principles inculcated by the most esteemed of the sects of ancient philosophy, or of their individuals, particularly Pythagoras, Socrates, Epicurus, Cicero, Epictetus, Seneca, and Antonius. Regarding the philosophers, their precepts related chiefly to ourselves, and the government of those passions which, unrestrained, would disturb our tranquillity of mind. In this branch of philosophy, they were really great. In developing our duties to others, they were short and effective. They embraced indeed the circles of kindred and friends and inculcated patriotism, or the love of our country in the aggregate, as a primary obligation toward our neighbors and countrymen. They taught justice, but scarcely viewed them as within the circle of benevolence. Still less have inculcated peace, charity, and love to our fellow men, or embraced with benevolence the whole family of mankind. Regarding the Jews, their system was deism, that is, the belief of one only God, but their ideas of him and of his attributes were degrading and injurious. Number 2, their ethics were not only imperfect, but often irreconcilable with the sound dictates of reason and morality, as they respect intercourse with those around us, and repulsive, antisocial, as respecting other nations. They needed reformation, therefore, in an eminent degree. Number 3, Jesus. In this state of things among the Jews, Jesus appeared. His parentage was obscure, his condition poor, his education null, his natural endowments great, his life correct and innocent. He was meek, benevolent, patient, firm, disinterested, and of the sublimest eloquence. The disadvantage under which his doctrines appear are remarkable. Like Socrates, Epictetus, he wrote nothing of himself, but he had not, like them, a Xenophon or an Arian to write for him. On the contrary, all the learned of the country, entrenched in its power and riches, were opposed to him, lest his labor should undermine their advantages. And the committing to writing his life and his doctrines fell on the most unlettered and ignorant men, who wrote, too, from memory, not till long after the transactions had passed. Accordingly to the ordinary fate of those who attempt to enlighten and reform mankind, he fell an early victim to the jealousy and combination of the altar and the throne at about 33 years of age. His reasoning not yet attained the maximum of its energy, nor the course of his preaching, which was about 3 years at most, presented occasions for developing a complete system of morals. Hence, the doctrines which he really delivered were defective as a whole, and fragments only of what he did deliver have come to us mutilated, misstated, and often unintelligible. They have been still more disfigured by the corruptions of the schismaticism followers, who have found an interest in sophisticating and perverting the simple doctrines he taught by engrafting on them the mysticisms of the Grecian sophists, frittering them into subtleties, and obscuring them with jargon until they have caused good men to reject the whole in disgust, to view Jesus himself as an impostor. Notwithstanding these disadvantages, a system of morals is presented to us, which, if filled up in the true style and spirit of rich fragments he left us, would be the most perfect and sublime that has ever been taught by men. The question of his being a member of the Godhead, or direct communication with it, claimed for him by some of the followers and denied by others, is foreign to the present view, which is merely an estimate of the intrinsic merit of his doctrines. He corrected the deism of the Jews, confirming them in their belief of only one God, and giving them juster notions of his attributes and government. His moral doctrines relating to kindred and friends were more pure and perfect than those of the most correct of the philosophers, and greatly more so than those of the Jews, and they went far beyond both in inculcating universal philanthropy, not only to kindred and friends, to neighbors and countrymen, but to all mankind, gathering all into one family under the bonds of love, charity, peace, common wants, and common side. A development of this head will evince the peculiar superiority of the system of Jesus over all others. The precepts of philosophy and of the Hebrew code laid hold of actions only. He pushed his scrutinies into the heart of man, erected his tribunal in the region of his thoughts, and purified the waters at the fountainhead. He taught emphatically the doctrines of a future state which was either doubted or disbelieved by the Jews, and wielded it with efficacy as an important incentive supplementary to other motives to moral conduct. This ends the syllabus sent to Dr. Benjamin Rush.